In today's fast-paced world of finance and wealth building, reaching a significant financial milestone such as a $1 million net worth is a dream for many people. However, the path to financial success is not always straightforward. There are often key insights and strategies that you can employ that can help you get to your goals much more quickly. Well, in today's video, I'm going to be going over 5 things that I wish that I knew that would have helped me get to a 7-figure net worth quicker than I was able to do so. The first thing that you have to focus on is you have to focus on increasing your income. Now, this is an obvious first step, right? But in order to build long-term wealth, you have to focus on increasing your income over time. And there are several ways that you can go about doing that. Now, if you are in your early to mid 20s and you're not in a 4-year college institution, you should be focusing on working at least 50 hours a week in order to start building wealth. Now, if you're working at a place that will not allow you to work more than 50 hours, then you should take a look at getting a second job that will allow you to work an additional 5 to 10 hours so you can bring in additional income. So now you've taken care of step number 1, which is working to bring in more income. Now, the next thing that you have to focus on are what are the things that you can do that will allow you to increase your skill set so you can command a larger salary. And if you did not go to college and you are working that 40 to 50 hours a week and you're trying to save as much money as you possibly can, the next thing you want to do is you want to look into learning a new skill or a trade. So my son didn't go to college. He went the trade school route. And I'm a big fan of the trade school route. In the United States, we have a huge need for plumbers and electricians and healthcare workers. And the trade route gives you an excellent opportunity to learn a new skill in a relatively short amount of time that will allow you to increase your income substantially. And once you obtain this new skill and you've been working in your job for at least 2 or 3 years, you want to go to the open job market to ensure that your current employer is paying you a fair market wage. Now, it is very typical for you to be underpaid in your current role within an organization, especially if you've been there for a couple of years. So I'm a very big supporter of every 2 to 3 years making sure that you take a look at the open market to ensure that your current employer is paying you the wages that you deserve for your role. And if they're not, my suggestion would be for you to apply for new jobs that will allow you to make a higher salary. It is fairly common for your current employer to be paying you a wage that's at or a little below what you could command out on the open market. So this is where you have to make sure that you're taking some initiative and you are benchmarking your wages against the industry to ensure that your current employer is paying you what the role is worth. And if they're not, this is your opportunity to go into the open market and apply for new jobs. And once you get an offer at a new organization, you can either A, go to your current employer and let them know that you would like to get a raise to match a current offer that you have, or B, you can just go ahead and take that new role and go to a new company to start to earn more income. But the bottom line is every 2 to 3 years, you want to make sure that you're taking a look at what you're making versus what your role commands in that industry to ensure that you're being able to make the most money that you can in that particular role. The second thing that I wish that I knew is that in my early 20s, I would have invested more into my retirement. Now, don't get me wrong, I did invest in my company-sponsored 401k, and I want to say that I was investing 6%, which was the match that I was able to get at that time. But one of the things that I did not take advantage of was investing in an IRA. So if you don't know the difference between a 401k and an IRA, 401k allows you to put pre-tax dollars into your company-sponsored retirement account. And whenever you're able to pull that money out at the age of 59 and a half, you have to pay taxes on the money that you pull out. And on the flip side, an IRA allows you to contribute post-tax dollars into an account. And as of 2024, you are able to put in $6,500 a year into this account. And whenever you withdraw the money at 59 and a half or later, all of the money in that account is yours tax-free. So while I was able to invest in my company's 401k, and I did take advantage of that at the time, not investing in an IRA at that time was something that I wish that I had taken advantage of. And quite frankly, I really just didn't have the financial education to understand all of the financial products that were available to me to invest in. I just put my money in my company sponsored 401k and I kind of set it and forget it. I really didn't understand what I was investing in. I didn't understand mutual funds versus index funds. So those are some of the things that I wish I would have taken advantage of in my earlier years, because when you invest in your 20s, it allows you to have much more time for those contributions to compound over time. And instead of investing in an IRA or in my brokerage account, I was putting most of my money in a savings account. And at the time, it was paying out less than 1%. So a lot of the money that I was stashing in my bank account was not earning any money for me. And it took me a really long time to understand that in order to really accelerate the wealth building process, you have to make every dollar that you have work for you. And quite frankly, when you have your money in a savings account, it is not working for you. It is sitting there while inflation eats away at it, and your purchasing power that's in your account is actually going down every year. Now, at the time of this video, there are lots of savings accounts that are paying 5% and some even paying a little bit higher than that. But once inflation and interest go back to normal rates, my expectation is that the amount of interest that you get on a savings account will go back down to pre-pandemic levels, which is between 1 and 1.5%. The next thing that I wish that I had known sooner in my wealth building process was the need to set up a budget. Now, in my opinion, this could be one of the very most important things that you do as you continue along your wealth building journey. Because before I put together an actual budget and started to follow it, I had no idea how much money I was spending on things that I did not need. And I'd be willing to bet that if you tracked every dollar that you spent over the next 3 to 4 months, you would be surprised at how much money that you spend on things that you don't even realize that you're spending it on. And early on in the process, I was pushed back against putting a budget into place. And the reason that I pushed back against having a budget into place is because I really thought that I could manage my money without one. And I was wrong. I was wrong. And to this day, I swear by putting a budget into place. And with all the free apps that are out there today, it's really, really simple to create a budget and to track a budget every single month. If you're really interested in building wealth, this is one of the number one things outside of increasing your income that you have to make sure that you have in check. If you're serious about starting your wealth building journey, I want you to do something for me. Over the next 30 days, I want you to track every dollar that you spend over the course of the month. And you can keep track of this by either writing it down or using one of the many free budgeting apps that are out there. Then I want you to come back to this video and I want you to comment and let me know what is the percentage of your monthly income that you're spending on things that you didn't even realize that you were buying. My guess is that you'll be shocked, but who knows? Make sure you leave a comment and let me know. Now, the next thing on the list is avoiding consumer debt at all costs. Now, when I think about consumer debt, I generally think about two traps that we get ourselves into when it comes to that type of debt. Now, the first is credit card debt. And as a young college student, I went out and I racked up some credit card debt in my early 20s, and it took me a while to get out of debt. Now, it wasn't a ton of debt. I want to say it was like $6,000 or $7,000 in credit card debt. But being in my early 20s, not having a lot of money, it took me longer than it should have to pay that debt off. Because where they get you at is they get you with that 25, 27% interest. And before you know it, you're just paying the monthly minimum and it's going mostly to the interest for the month. So I'm paying month after month after month and my principal is not going down and I'm just essentially paying interest. So one of the things that you have to make sure that you avoid is getting into credit card debt or consumer debt. And they're getting a little bit more sophisticated with their debt now. you have Affirm, you have places like Klarna where they will actually let you buy things and that you find on the internet, and you can pay them off over a 2 or a 3 month period. And oftentimes they'll entice you by offering 0% interest. And it sounds great. It sounds great. You can have this item, you get it with nothing down, and you have 3 or 4 months to pay this off with no interest. But here's where they get you. They know that most people are not going to pay off that debt within that 0% interest time frame. And then what happens is once that introductory 0% interest wears off, they tack on all the interest that has accumulated since you purchased the item. And on top of that, they hit you with a 25 to 27% interest rate, which means that you are stuck paying 3 or 4 or 5x the price that it would have cost you if you would have just had the cash to pay for the item. And the second trap is getting into the cycle of endless car payments. See, in my 20s and in my early 30s, I was on a cycle to where I was getting a new car every 2 to 3 years. And that really sets you back some, especially when you're trading in cars that you don't have any equity in and you're just continuously rolling them into the next vehicle. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't go out and buy a car, right? It's your money, it's your journey, but you have to be smart about how you do it. And I admittedly was not smart about it. I mean, I was getting a new car every 2 to 3 years, and that set me back. I was able to hit my goal, but I would have been able to hit it much faster had I not got into that cycle of trying to upgrade my car every 2 to 3 years. And the fifth thing on the list, which fortunately for me has worked out, is to make sure that you get into a long-term relationship or into a marriage with someone that is aligned with your long-term financial goals. So a few of the things that you need to make sure that you're aligned on are spending habits, saving habits, and investing habits. And you also need to understand how much debt each of you are bringing to the table and how that debt's going to be handled. Because having a lot of consumer debt is going to prohibit you from reaching a 7-figure net worth faster than you could. So you have to make sure that you're taking all of that into consideration. If you get into a long-term relationship or into a marriage with someone that does not have the same or similar financial goals as you, it's going to severely prohibit your ability to reach your financial goals. So those are the 5 things that I wish that I knew that would have helped me get to a 7-figure net worth faster than I was able to. If you like this type of content, make sure to check out the next video.